Hey everybody! Are you at a breaking point and tired of your family and your country and thinking about quiet quitting them like you're currently doing at your job? Well, today is your lucky day, because out of a list that began with 84, we have for you the 10 best countries in the world for you to choose from as your next place of residence. And for those of you out there whose country didn't make it to the top 10 or didn't land in the number one spot as you assumed it certainly would, well, we're sure it's great in its own tiny little way. Also, because we don't want to accept any responsibility or directed anger for these rankings, we'd like you all to know that this list was determined by the U.S. News and World Report in association with the BAV Group and the Wharton School of the University of Pennsylvania. Now that we've dodged responsibility, let's get started. Number 10. Denmark. Of the 3 Scandinavian countries, 2 are on this list, and Denmark, named the happiest country on the earth multiple times, is the first. Founded all the way back in the 10th century, Denmark is one of the oldest countries in Europe and is home to the world's first ever recognized state flag that's still in use today. The constitutional monarchy has a world-renowned history for its transparency and high stability, resulting in very little civil strife when compared to other European countries with that long of a past. Domestically, its progressive taxation system provides universal health care and higher education to all of its residents. While there is a high income tax and the corporate tax rate is around 24.5%, it's very easy to establish a new business in the country. Tourists won't be disappointed when visiting Denmark either. Despite there being multiple beaches throughout the nation, the water is so clean that you can find multiple harbor baths in the city of Copenhagen and can drink water straight from the tap. Whether you're exploring the Frederiksberg Palace, which hosts the nation's Museum of National History, the Viking Ship Museum at Roskilde, or the world-famous Tivoli Gardens, Denmark truly has something for everyone. Number 9. France. The most visited country in the world with an average of 90 million visitors per year, France is a powerhouse in terms of its contributions to the sciences and arts. Over the years, famous French people have set the standard in their respective fields. Louis Pasteur set a whole new standard of living through his scientific breakthroughs, while names like Joan of Arc and Napoleon Bonaparte fill our history pages by taking part in some of the most influential battles in European history. This multifaceted past is still visible in the French modern economy. While a big part of it is tourism-based, the biggest export for the French is machinery and primarily weapons. Domestically, the people of the country have education, healthcare, and pensions for retirement all taken care of by the federal government. But there is a reason the tourism numbers in the country are so high. Thanks to a history as old as Europe itself, France is home to no less than 49 UNESCO World Heritage Sites, most of which are open to the public. Sites like the Lascaux Caves show continuous inhabitation since prehistoric times, while monuments like the Eiffel Tower in Paris and the Louvre Museum are shining examples of modern engineering. Number 8. United Kingdom. Despite being comparable in size to the state of Michigan, the United Kingdom had potentially the largest cultural impact on the entire world. Once known as the empire on which the sun never sets, the small island nation grew under imperialism to a kingdom worthy of the moniker. Today, English is known as the business language, and it's thanks in no small part to the nation having a foothold in every corner of the country over the last 500 years. It was even where the Industrial Revolution began. Despite the horrors of imperialization and colonialism, it's hard to argue against the fact that the results are a more unified world, for better or worse. Immigration and tourism are common in the United Kingdom, and it is home to world-renowned universities like Oxford, where people from all nations come to receive a higher education. The capital of London is also one of the world's major international financial centers, with its service industry in tourism and banking keeping the city thriving, Whether visiting the famous Tower of London, the mysterious formation of Stonehenge, or the Roman ruins in the North Country that make up Hadrian's Wall, the United Kingdom is a haven for exploration too. Number 7. Australia. Originally made famous as a British penal colony, the Commonwealth of Australia takes up the entire continent that shares its name. Surrounded on all sides by ocean, the island country is home to some of nature's most beautiful wonders, like the Great Barrier Reef, the Great Monolith of Uluru, and the 12 Apostles, a limestone formation along the Great Ocean Road. For native Australians, there are a lot of reasons to take pride in their homeland other than the natural sights, though. Australia is a fairly wealthy nation with a market-based economy whose citizens can boast of a respectable per capita income and a very long life expectancy at around 83 years old. Being one of the most physically active nations, Australia has a high participation in sporting activity. Many natives are active in sports like rugby, cricket, football, or soccer, and surfing. On top of this, the country and its people are very inclusive. Recent decades have seen an influx of immigrants, primarily of Asian descent, only adding to the mixture of culture, especially in major cities like Sydney, making the country feel welcoming to most. Number 6. Japan. Japan is an archipelago that until recently was thought to have islands numbering somewhere in the 6,000s. But surveys in 2023 have uncovered thousands more that the world was unaware of until recently. Now, there are a total of 14,125 islands in the Japanese archipelago, and despite being relatively small, the nation is 11th in total population rankings globally. Historical Japan saw an isolated culture develop, with its famous Buddhist and Shinto shrines, samurais of the Shogun era with their notorious code, and tea houses with traditional Japanese art. Recent years have seen the country fully embrace a combination of the old culture and the new Western style. One trip to Tokyo from the scenic Mount Fuji on the world-famous bullet trains will show you everything from traditional Japanese countryside culture to the metropolitan-packed living of the city. The country is now a superpower, largely due to its exports in electronics, automobiles, and steel, giving it the third largest economy, and the citizens get to reap the benefits of that standing. While about 70% of Japan is covered in mountains and forests, most citizens live an urban lifestyle in the major cities. They also get to brag about having the world's oldest population and are known for being a very educated society. With one of the most literate and tech-advanced populations to ever exist, Japan truly is a wonder for both nationals and foreigners. Number 5. Sweden. The other Scandinavian country to be found on this list, Sweden, is potentially the most generous nation in the world. Despite being known as neutral during times of foreign war, Sweden has been a world leader in international affairs regarding humanitarian efforts, donating about 1% of its gross national product to humanitarian and aid programs annually. Thanks to its stable government, which relies heavily on a capitalistic economy, Sweden is home to an advanced infrastructure and transportation services, free healthcare and secondary education, and one of the longest life expectancies on the planet. The people are very welcoming to foreigners as well, both refugees and tourists. In addition to Sweden's 29 national parks, the country is also home to over 100,000 lakes, making it ideal for any hiker or nature lover. Tourists can also adventure to the world's first ice hotel for a night's stay, while history buffs can visit Stockholm's old town of Galmastan, which dates back to the 13th century and still has buildings in the same condition as they were in the 17th and 18th centuries. Truly, Sweden has a home for everybody. Number 4. United States of America. The United States of America is a relatively young country when compared to others on this list. Yet, in its short 2.5 centuries, it has made a cultural impact on the world like few others. It essentially created pop culture with Hollywood and the innovations in cinema and TV. In literature, writers like Miller, Hemingway, and Steinbeck rewired people's brains and made them question the status quo. Artists like Norman Rockwell, Grant Wood, and Andy Warhol achieved international fame with imagery of Americana and broke the bar in their respective styles. While always being a breeding ground for controversy, the United States of America has also been a breeding ground for innovation and multiculturalism. Even if there are certain areas that are unaccepting or have an unfamiliar climate, a visitor can always find a variation suited for them in this 3.8 million square mile wide nation. Natural sites like the Colorado Rockies, the Grand Canyon, and Niagara Falls cover the landscape, while metropolitan cities like New York, LA, and Miami are so multicultural that no one would feel out of place in the right neighborhood. And thanks to having the world's largest GDP and being the most technologically powerful, the USA will most definitely be holding a firm position on this list for some time to come. Number 3. Canada. Since 1971, Canada has wholly embraced its diversity with government policies celebrating multiculturalism. In 2022 alone, Canada granted over 437,000 foreigners permanent residency and have pledged to increase this to 500,000 a year by 2025. Cities like Quebec celebrate French heritage, while cities like Vancouver and Toronto are hubs for people of every European and Asian ancestry imaginable. And thanks to hosting the third largest oil reserves, Canada is the fourth largest oil producer globally. This has made modern Canada a high-tech, industrious nation with a high standard of living for its citizens. Universal healthcare is a key benefit for people living in this country, and while college tuition isn't free, it is very affordable for residents when compared to most of the schools in the United States. Canada is a beautiful country with just as much, if not more, biodiversity than its southern neighbor. And while both countries are founded on immigration, the nice, white North seems to embrace it on the whole far more. Number 2. Germany. With radical minds like Nietzsche, Martin Luther, and Einstein, Germany has always been a hotbed of innovative thought. In the early to mid-20th century, that radical, innovative thought got dark and set a whole new precedent for evil in the world. But while some may take tragedy such as this and be worse off, Germany took the lesson to heart. Today, the country has a zero-tolerance policy on hate speech, cults, and even the denial of the Holocaust. Now the country is one of the world's most popular migration destinations thanks to its open-door policy and is the most populous nation in the EU. It also has one of the world's largest economies, thanks in no small part to its telecommunications, healthcare, and tourism sectors. Tourists to the country can find natural wonders like the Black Forest, fairy tale architecture in Heidelberg, or experience the glory of Oktoberfest in Munich, all while feeling welcomed by the locals. On top of that, residents of the country get to benefit from all of the tourism and migration-related policies with high wages, a relatively low cost of living, and low levels of corruption in the government. And number 1, Switzerland. Switzerland is a country that is famous in pop culture for its secretive banking, its beautiful Alps, and particularly enough, its neutrality. For centuries now, Switzerland has been a nation that has devoted itself to focusing on internal affairs and generally for helping foreigners in times when they either made profit or had to play the intermediary. This may sound cold and calculated, but on occasion, it has been useful to the outside world. Geneva has been a popular meeting place for international powers to de-escalate tensions and set standards for wartime protocols. Domestically, this neutrality tactic and laissez-faire attitude have made modern Switzerland one of the wealthiest nations with low unemployment rate, low corporate tax, and one of the highest GDPs in the world. its citizens have also proved to be individually outstanding as well. With more patents registered per capita and more Nobel Prizes awarded per capita than any other nation, it seems that Switzerland has set the bar on how to live. And for people just wanting to tour the country, the land is home to over 1,500 lakes, cities so clean that you can drink from any tap or public fountain, and multiple microclimates, despite only being as big as Vermont and New Hampshire combined. Switzerland is a truly beautiful country that has mostly kept its reputation clean, as well as its cities, and is sure to be a #1 country for many years, especially if it continues to keep to itself and just focus on doing right by its people. Well, folks, that brings us to the end. Please let us know your thoughts in the comment section below and any suggestions you may have for future videos that you'd like to see us cover. Don't forget to tap that like button and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.